one that's going to do the work. If you noticed last week, we said when God spoke, who did the work? Jesus did the work. So that means he's telling you, you can't believe my Father if you don't believe in me. Because when you put it all together, who are we? One. The Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost all make one. But yet, they are three different ones. But they all make one unless you believe in others. I know you have people that teach that doctrine. You have folks that teach that I believe in something. So what is this telling us today? They are wrong. If you believe in what the Word says, now this is the question. The question says, if you believe in what the Word says, then you got to do what it says. But if you don't believe in what the Word says, I don't believe in the Son, you're not believing in what? In the Word. So if we in the King James Version, we believe in the Word, we got to take what it says. How many of us there when Jesus walked earth? Hold your hand up. No. I don't see a hand. None of us was there. So all we have to do is do what? Believe. We got to believe that Jesus came down and died for what? Us. Not only we got to believe that, but we got to trust that. So I can't have one without having the other there. Because the one who sent me is greater than I am. Now this morning, when he read about that, he was first talking about John the Baptist. Because John, what did John came to do? He came to prepare the way for who? For Christ. John came to prepare the way for Christ. All right, and after John came, who was the one say greater than John? Jesus. That's what John was preparing the way for Jesus right there. What he was reading this morning. Preparing that way for him. John, somebody greater than I. Now, Jesus is saying the same thing. Somebody greater than him. Who was greater than Jesus? God. And God was his what? God was his Father. So you see, each one of them lead to another. And Rita, what did the next one tell us?
And he that seeth me, seeth him that sent me.
That's what it said. Don't that kind of read funny. And he that sees me, send him that sent me. What's that talking about? Who see him? The Father see him. The Father sees the Son. When you see that, he sees him and he what to? He did what? He sent him. Now let me see. How did he send him? First it started out being a book. What was it? What did we say? In the beginning was the Word. So what was in the beginning? He was the Word in the beginning. The Word. Now he said if he was the Word in the beginning, and then after those generations, what did he manifest himself into? Into the flesh. Who are we talking about? We're talking about Jesus, and we're talking about God. Because God spoke the word. We said all God has to do with just what? Speak the word. Last week, all Jesus had to do with just what? Speak the word. He didn't have to know that. All he had to do was just speak the word. And the little boy was healed. Hey, that's something. Here we go right here. So the one who sent him, which was God. God sent his son. Now, what was the purpose of God sending his son? To redeem man from sin, because if you go all the way back to the beginning of sin, what was the beginning of sin? Who did it start with? Adam and who? Eve. Adam and Eve. Okay, Adam and Eve. All right, Adam and Eve. You know what I'm talking about. So that was the beginning of it. But I'm so glad that was not the end of it. That was not the end of it. Why you know that was not the end? Because one or two generations, who came down? Who are we talking about today? We're talking about Jesus. So that lets me know Adam was the beginning, but Adam was not the end of it. So today we said the one that sent him. And this whole unit about the Word. The Word. What does the Word do? The Word become flesh. Isn't that something? Just the Word. The Word became flesh. Then, Rita, what did that next one tell us about that?
I am come a light into the world, that whosoever believeth on me should not abide in darkness.
I am a light of the world. Isn't that something? He came to be a light of the world. So what do that tell you if he came to be a light of the world? What was in the world? Darkness. Sin. Sin is darkness. So what he said, I came to be a light of this world. That's what I asked you this morning. Where is your light? Are you a light of the world here? Can people see Christ through you? What do they see through you then? I don't see nobody saying that. They see what? They see the light in you. They see the light in you. I told you about how our head shines, it's about our light. So they see the light in you. So if Christ came to be the light of the world, and you are in Christ, what you should be? Our light. And why should that light be? And when that light should be? All the time. You should never let your little light go out. What he's saying right here, because he came to be a light for us. Everybody don't believe. So if you don't believe, he's not a light for you. He only a light for the one that believed and trusted him. He said, because I came. He came to give us salvation. The only way you can get salvation is through Jesus. How else can you get it? You can't earn it. I told you again, you can't pray your way to heaven. You can't sing your way to heaven. If you dance, you can't dance your way to heaven. The only way you can get to heaven is through Jesus. And all the way that happens is through salvation. That's why he sent it down here. It said in the beginning when he read, he wants nobody to be lost. That was the beginning of it. But what happened? Some still gonna be lost. He don't force it on you. Jesus, the God, don't force himself on you. He give you your mind. That's up to you to do what's right. Think about that now. What is it? That's a choice that you make. You know, in this life, we always make choices. So here's one of the choices you make. You can make a choice to either go to heaven, or you can make a choice to go to hell. You can talk. Listen now, you said. No, you can go to heaven or you can go to hell. That's your choice. God gave you a choice. Because what he did, he sent his light. This is the light of the world because the world was so dark. When I began to think about some of the light, what is the light that he sent us? When you look at that, the light is peace. Don't you have peace? Christian folks should have peace in their heart. Don't you have love? Christian folks should have love in your heart. What is that? That's part of the light. Now, when you begin to look about the love that we have, that unselfish love, and through that love, we're going through some trials. We're going through some tribulation. Why would we go through trials and tribulation? Because that's test your what? Test your faith in him. If everything was good, what would happen? You would have nothing to pray for. But what we think, once we become saved, we feel like that our life is all changed. That's not true. Once you become saved, Satan really is on your track in more than ever there. So you got to realize that why he does this thing like that. If everybody was saved like he said it would, and wasn't going through something, wouldn't that be a world to be in? But when would that day come? Judgment day, that day gonna come when we all get up there and wear our golden shoes. We won't have to worry about nothing in because everything down here would be paid for. And how do you do that? By being the light of the world. Your light ought to shine just like God came and let his light, Jesus' light shine. Your light should shine every day of your life. People should see God through you. How many of you all people see God through? You don't have to tell. Because you know some of the days that you don't see God. Some of the days you say you lay your religion down. You know, you may lay it down and what happens? Somebody may come along and pick up your religion if that's the case. So what you need to do is keep your religion at all times. What that means, always have faith in the Lord. No matter what you're going through, you just trust in Him. Trust in God that He's going to carry you through. You may get to the mountain, but still let God be with you at the mountain. Because when you get there, He's already there. Last week we saw that He didn't have to go there. He was already there to heal the woman. Think about that. How Christ worked. So He came to be the light of the world. If I'm a part of Christ, I ought to be a light that everybody can see Jesus in me. Does He really? Or does people see Jesus in you? Or do they only see Jesus in you on a Sunday morning? What happened those other 6 days a week? Why is the same Jesus? Why is that light? It should be where? It should be with you. If I'm a changed person, that means I'm going to do what? Not go back to what I was in. I'm going to change. If I am changed, if I'm the light of the world, my light should always shine. Says God, said Jesus be the light of the world. And this whole unit is talking about the Word. The Word became flesh. Who are we talking about? We are talking about Jesus here. So when you look at what he's talking about and what Jesus did, and talking about the light of the world, then look what she just read about that there. So that means that if you're in Jesus, you should have darkness. But we are in the human flesh, and you're going to have some darkness in your life. What does that darkness do? That darkness that puts you have more faith in who? In Jesus, let you know. Darkness is going to come up on you. What is darkness? Sickness. Don't we all get sick sometimes? Some people have got so sick they say, oh, Lord, take it. What happened? He said, when you got onto your last minute, you didn't have anything else. Isn't that darkness in your life? When you got bills that you don't know how to pay, isn't that darkness in your life? When your children are so hard-headed, you done beat them to death and they still wrong, isn't that darkness in your life? When your wife cursing you out for no reason, isn't that darkness in your life? When you cussing your wife out for no reason, isn't that darkness in your life? But through all that darkness, who shows up? God shows up. Not only does God show up, I like that. When he shows up, he do what? He shows out. So everything I just said, all I got to do is trust and believe in God, because when he show up, he gonna show out. Do you believe he gonna show out? Have you ever got to the point that Jesus showed out for you? All the time. Have you got to somewhere you know you can do? You know there's no other way to do it. But what did Jesus do? He showed up, and what did he do? Showed out. You know, sometimes it makes me feel good when I kind of let know that Jesus show out on me. When I know I can't do it, but I turn it over to him. I like the word him. And what do him do? Him shows up and him show out. Ain't you got a glad? Yeah, you got. I don't like that word, but you know it sounds good. Ain't you glad that God can do that for you? Can anybody else do it? Nobody else can do it. Wife can't do it. Brother can't do it. Sister can't do it. Pastor can't do it. Nobody can do it but who? But God. Nobody but God. So I like that part right there. Anybody else got something to say about that? When you in God, you have life. No matter how dark people look at you, you still have the light. No matter how people think that you can't make it, and you find out what, you'll make it. Isn't that something? I know he can't do it. I know she can't do it. But when you look around, what happened? They did it. Who did that for you? God. So what is that? That's the light. When did that light come? When you accept it. He does not force it on you. You accept Christ. When you accept Christ as being that light, he gonna come in and he gonna show out of your life. No matter what your neighbor said to you, all you gotta do is just believe and trust that God gonna do exactly what he said. And then, anybody else got something to say? Well, that's the final opportunity. Well, here's a question. How can believers develop an intense desire to reach the lost because of the certainty of Christ's return? How can us reach the lost? How can you reach the lost? How do you reach the lost? Maybe I put it like that. By studying the Word. By living a lifestyle. By letting the lost know this is how God worked on me. The same God that worked on me can do the same thing to you. What they said, I once was just like you. When you tell people a good testimony, you know, sometimes a testimony will reach somebody. Because when you tell it something, they could have been through the same thing. When you got your head all stuck up in the air, like you never had no downfall, so what did that tell me? Something wrong there. Because everybody in this life gonna go through trials and tribulation. Some of us go through some of the same things somebody went through. So if you tell me that that same God that I'm praising every day did it for you, and he said he have no respect for person, so what did that tell me? That he can do it for me. Just like he saved me, he saved you. Who did it? God did it. How that song said, who did it? God did it. Not my mother, not my brother, not my sister, but who? God did it. When you tell them the lost that God did it. I hear Tracy that people come out to Walmart all the time. I should talk to them. Do you know just that little speak, talking to somebody, change their whole lifestyle? Dude, you got to live that life. You do that. Just you saying something good to somebody. Change your lifestyle. Sometimes people be in a bad mood. And you can just say, good morning, how you doing? You sure look good. So you know that changes their whole perspective for the day. But what do? We walk all around. Sometimes all people need is a kind word. They just need a good smile on their face. You may not say nothing, but just give me a little smile. That makes me feel so good. Miss Tracy, oh yeah. You see how it's just being who you are. And let God let that little light shine through you. When you see somebody, you don't know what they're going through. But you begin to talk to that person and you find out what they're going through. Just give me a little kind word sometimes. I don't want no love. I don't want that kind of love that you think I want you. I just want that kind word. Just talk to us just like we're brothers and sisters. What we said, we got that thing so bad now. Somebody smile at you, what they think. What the word you say? They try to play. They try to flirt. Just a smile. You know, when I was working, I said, when I was working, I always worked with a lot of women. In my field was a few men. You know, when I see a woman have a nice dress, I said, oh, that looks nice. They didn't think that nice. When they saw me with my nice suit on, this was what they looked like. I didn't think that nice. Why? It's just a compliment. But nowadays, if you get a compliment, a woman say that, what's gonna happen?
She gonna tell everybody that you try to go with her.
She gonna tell you trying to go with her. I'm not trying to go with you. That's how things change. I'm just telling you how well you look. This is a whole different thing now. Back in my day, we didn't think that. Now it's not that. But now you gotta be careful. You can't care about it. I hear something.
You just say hey, and they'll say you're trying to go with it.
You just say hey, you're trying to go with it. And don't look nice. You know, you get in the mirror and look nice. You know you look nice. And a man says, ooh, you sure look nice. You heard that. He said, I look nice. So I'm telling you that you look nice. Then we got some women say, yeah, I know I look nice. He tried to go with you. That man wasn't trying to go with you. That man is happy married, or happy with somebody. He just telling you how nice you look. So now I begin to shut my mouth when I see somebody look nice, unless I really know you. I shut my mouth. Because they'll say, you see Mr. Buckley, I'm digging Buckley, trying to flirt with her. No, you're not. That's the world that we live in. You know, I'm in that. So how can we help somebody?
Get out of my head.
She trying to lie.
She want me.
I got my wife and she trying to fool around.
Yeah.
She just telling you your suit look nice. We got it so big stuff now. What we got to do is get back to the word. Get to the word, Dick. Always. And he have taken over now. You know, it's so bad now. I just walk up to the door and open the door for a woman. Now you scared to open the door. I need you to open the door for me. I got my right. Wait a minute. All I'm doing is just being polite. Do you know what the thing that we do? Which doesn't make sense.
I expected, I'm looking for it, but now I know what it is. Like I get up the because they will take it the wrong way.
There you go. Old school stuff. We was taught that. When a woman came in, open the door. I tell you it was so good when I was dating. My wife and I walk around open the door for her. Now all those people look. You must be in there. Yeah. Kevin, you heard it. Don't they say it? He said about the right hand. Well, I guess so too. But anyhow, you know, that's the way we came up back then. But everything has changed. So if we want to change this thing, we're talking about laws, we got to do what needs to be done as men, as women, in order to save that which lost. That's what Jesus came for. All right? I like that, y'all. That was good there. All right, here's the last one. The last one said, the only escape. You have tried everything else. And now, this is the only way you get out. You had the final opportunity. Now here's the only escape. Why he saying that? Because 3 days later, they're going to carry him to the cross. The same one that saw the thing that he done was the same one that was crucified. What did that tell me? The same people that smile in your face, sometimes they do what? They stab you in the back. What that song that old day? Backstabbers? We full of backstabbers. Smile in your face and they stab you in the back. The same one. How do you know the same one? What this is right here? The same one is Jesus. He was with them. They saw what he done. They accepted his hearing. You know, that's not talking. How to? Oh, okay. They saw his healing. They saw everything that he was doing. And who was the first one that said, kill him? The same one. Kill him. You with. So that tells me when you think somebody's your friend, you better watch it. Those people you think your friend, you better be careful. Because the only thing they want to do is see how they can get next. I can't get next to you. How can they get next to you? You know, I like all the old songs back in my day. That was the stuff that come along. But anyhow, that's what happened right there. That was life. That was life. So young people don't know anything about the life that we know about. Stuff those sound. You know, when they written those songs then, they have a meaning. So now they write songs. Don't know what he said. You talked about my mother. Have you heard that? How you cuss my mother? How you shoot up somebody? That's what we hear. We don't hear songs with meaning. But back to what we're saying there. When them people that say your friend, because of your friend. The only friend you have, thank you. What a friend we have in Jesus. So that's the only friend that you have. Everybody else may be your associate. Because when it comes down to it, the only friend you got is Jesus. When you have him as your friend, you're good. You have some earthly people here, but you have to watch those people there. And then, Rita, as we go into the last part, since this is the only escape, what does give us, Rita, on 47?
And if any man hear my words and believe not, I judge him not. For I came not to judge the world, but to save the world.
What do you say? What are you saying there? If you hear my word, when do I hear Jesus' word? I hear when preachers are preaching. If you hear my word, I hear my word. I hear it on the radio. I hear his word. You hear it everywhere. You read it everywhere. But when you hear his word, you know, you can hear his word and not comprehend it. When you hear his word needs to go to your heart. You hear it with your ears, but God speaks to you through your heart. So when you hear his word, it says, when I hear his word. The next thing is that when you hear his word, what it says, I came not to judge. Wait a minute, what are you talking about? When you hear my word, I came not to judge. What is he talking about? He's talking about the first time he came down. The first time he came, he didn't come to judge. What did he come to do? He came to save. So what he said, when you hear my word, I didn't come to judge you. What that tell me right there? I'm not going to make you love me. That's what he's saying. I'm not going to make you love me. You can love me on your own this time. But when you hear my word, you ought to be able to love me for my word. Because my word is the truth. So if you believe in the truth and you hear my word, you ought to love me. That's simple. What he's saying, I didn't come to judge you. This is the first time. Now, there's a but in that. But then, if you don't accept me, what's going to happen? That's when that judgment come in. That judgment come in. When the judgment come in? The next time around. I like that. What it said, the second time around? The first time around, I came to save that which was lost. But the second time around, I came to get my people without a spot or wrinkle. What are you talking about? Without a spot or wrinkle. So I'm in the flesh. What does that mean? Nothing. Because I came to get the one that without a spot or wrinkle. I mean, I'm in this flesh. But I got to get out of this flesh and get into the what? Spirit. When you get into the spirit, you leave that flesh part. You're always going to be in that flesh. But you got to get in that spirit realm right there. Because when he come around, the next time, you don't have a Lord, please save me. What did that man in Lazarus, what did the rich man tell him? Remember what the rich man said by the son? He go back and do what? Save my brother. Why? We don't have that chance. You don't have that chance. This time, he telling them, this is your final escape. So you have a chance. See, what happened there? He was there in the flesh. Jesus is not here in the flesh with us. What is he here with us? He's in the spirit. Why is the spirit there? In your heart, so the spirit is in you. So this time he's telling them, now he's talking to them. Then he talking to us, saying, I come this time because I'm in the flesh. But the next time around, I'm not going to come to save you. I'm coming to get what's my own. So is that something? Now, are you a part of that own? Think about it. How do you become a part of that own? By living and doing what Christ tells you to do. Doing his word. When I read about that, isn't that something? He gave us a chance. Read. What was that 48 chapter? Talk to.
I talk to our Lord and I tell them, when I turn 70, I said, trying to get them to get their heart right. One of them heart is not really right now. But I tell myself, I'm not doing anything else on this earth in this world. Upset me now. I'm going to live like I want to live. I ain't never going to live. And I mean nothing. I say, I don't care. I love y'all to death, but I'm trying to tell y'all how to live right, live with God. You can't do everything, say everything, and make you want to help. Like, maybe help change your heart. I said, I'm trying to save y'all soul. I don't want them to do that. So I know I can't say anything wrong. They can do what they want. But my mama and my grandma, my auntie, they taught us all how to live right. And, make sure you go to help you right. Treat folks like you just can't say everything all the time. And I don't want my kids to be lost. I'm sure you all want y'all to be lost. When you get to that point, you don't want your children lost. And it breaks my heart for them, not to just, I don't know.
And you know, last week, that man, no woman, when he went back, his whole house got saved because he believed in what? God. So that means the whole household, they turn around and begin to trust in God because of one person. Now, she says she's not going to let nobody bother. I guess that's really me too. Everybody said, yeah. Come on, Miss Money.
Hopefully.
When you say, hear my word, and believe not out of the what he's saying, if you don't believe in what he's saying, he's not talking.
Right now, he's telling them, if you don't believe, that's good. But when I come back, it's different. When he said, believe or not, he said, come. So he said, I'm not forcing myself on you now. I came to save you. But when I come back, believe me not, it's going to be a whole different thing. I'm not coming back to save you. I'm coming back to get those that are already saved. When I come back, I'm bringing my wrath this time. This is your chance. The last escape is what he said there. He didn't come to judge the first time. God didn't send him to judge the first time. What did God send him to do? To save and give us our salvation the first time around. But when he comes the second time, it's not that. You either go with God or you going the other way without God. Heaven, he said, hell. Deacon won't be that way, so I'm going to say that. So you have no other choice the second time around. The first time he gave a choice. Second time, you don't have a choice. All right? Read it. Put the next one.
He that rejected me and receiving not my words had one that judgeth him. The word that I have spoken, the same shall judge him in the last day.
That's what you're talking about, the last days. You accept my word now. So if you don't accept my word, that's fine. But when I come back, you won't have another chance. The last days. When is the last days? When he come back, there's no other time. I can't go back and say, Lord, give me another chance. You had your chance. He's giving us a chance day by day. He's giving you a chance to get your house in divine order every day. Because whenever that time comes, you need to be ready. How do I be ready? By preparing myself right here. Daily, I prepare myself to be ready. Because no man knows. That came up last week. No man knows. Not even the an angel of heaven. No man knows when that time comes. So what it tells me, every day could be your last day. When is my last day? I could die right now. Isn't that my last day? So your last day could be any day. Any moment could be your last day. So if this any moment is my last day, what do that tell me? Each day, I need to live just like it's my last day. Each moment, I need to live just like it's my last moment. Because it could be my last moment. People die now all the time. So we got to live like God tells us to live and be the light of the world. What it tells them? Read what's the next chapter?
For I have not spoken of myself, but the Father which sent me. He gave me a commandment, which what I should say and what I should speak.
What he's saying there? I'm not speaking for myself. Who am I speaking from? My Father. My Father told me to tell you this here. I'm not telling, even though Jesus was God. Jesus had the power that God had. But he always gave credit to who? His Father. He said, I'm not doing this. My Father told me to tell you this here. Have you noticed that sometimes we can tell our church to do something and they do just the opposite? If they do something just opposite, then they say, who told me? My dad told me. But we say, I'm telling you that my Father told me to tell you, and I'm going to keep his commandment. What is his commandment? He didn't change one word. Even though we said that God, Jesus had the power to do it, because he was part of the Trinity, he didn't do it. He let them know God told me to do it. God told me to tell you this here. I'm not doing this on my own. I'm doing what my Father told me to tell you to do. Put that verse that in. And read it. What is that next chapter?
And I know that his commandment is life everlasting. Whatsoever I speak, therefore, even as the Father said unto me, so I speak.
I'm not changing nothing. Whatever he told me to say, I'm going to tell you because his word is everlasting. What is that? Heaven and earth may do what? Pass away, but what's going to be? My word will what? Stand forever. Look at that. Heaven and earth can pass away, but his word going to stand. Who is the word? Jesus. What that tell me? Jesus is going to be forever. Now, don't you want to go to a place that's not going to ever be destroyed? That's that forever. What forever mean? As long as it is. That'll never end. So whatever he told me to do, I'm going to do. Now, let's think about our church. If we tell our church to go someplace, what does this have to do? Sometime. Go somewhere else. But he didn't say that. He said what? Whatever he told me to do, I'm going to do. We tell our children to do something, well, they say that. My father told me to do. Then what you do? They're going to add a couple things to it. You know how they do? They add something to it. I didn't tell them to do that. No, I didn't say that. Yes, you did. No, I didn't. But what Jesus said, whatever he told me to say, I'm going to say it. I'm not going to add, not am I going to take away. I'm just going to keep it straightforward, just like my father told me. Wouldn't that be good if everybody would do what their father told them to do? Wouldn't it be good? Think about the world would be so nice. Everybody would do what their father tells us. Who is our father? We're supposed to be like Christ. My Father is in heaven. If I do what my Father says, if you do what your Father says, would that be in the killing? Isn't that something? Would that be in the stealing? Isn't that something? Would that be in the hate? No. But who do we do? We do what our Father says. Who is your Father? The devil. Yeah, we do a lot of this, what he says. Why do you do that? Because it sounds so good. You know, when I read about the fruit of the Spirit, that was 9. But then when I read about sin, that was 17. When you think about that, 9 things to do right and 17 to do wrong. Which one do we go to? The 17. Because what is it? We like more. Where to go? You go to McDonald's and the big old cup for $1. Isn't that more? You know, we always like to get more. But this tell me now, less is best. What is less? When you follow the fruit of the Spirit, that's less. But when you go to Satan of the flesh, that's more. Think about it. Everything we do. I want a double stack. I want a triple stack. Why? Because it's more. I got one wife. I think I want to get me another one. Why? Because it's more. We always want more. When do we ever want less? Think about it. Christ telling you, you can have less and still be the best. I like it myself. Have the less and still be the best. But we always want more. Whatever it is, we want more. No matter how much you get, you still want more. I got a 3-car. I'm thinking about getting me another car. What do I want? More. When does it stop? Stop. Because less can be your best sometimes. But what is it? We always want more. And then, in my case, since it's a fine escape, well, he want two can. Want two, then drive one. All right, I'm not saying. Here we go, first. Why is there a noble lack of seriousness towards studying God's word? Why is that? Why we are not serious about studying God's word? We get serious about everything else, but when it comes to God's word, don't want to live by it. That's the key word. You don't want to live by what God said. You want to live by what Satan said because that is so tempting. And you know Satan is so tempting. So you want to live that way. Study God's word. Live by God's word. If you just pick up your Bible and study 30 minutes a day. But what do? We work 8 hours, sometimes 12 hours, sometimes 15 hours. But when it comes to the Bible, what happens? I'm just too tired. Woo! I had this long day. You are too tired for the one who gave you. Have you ever thought about that? You give everybody except God. You want to give him less, but you want to give everybody else your best.
My God.
So I'm going to sit down after you give me your best. And we're going to give it all to God. And I'm taking my seat right now.
It's